Hello, and welcome to 5 Things You Need to Know About Journal Submission in 5 minutes or less, the next video of our manuscript series where we provide tips and tricks for various aspects of the manuscript writing and publishing process for graduate students. In this video, we provide tips for submitting your manuscript for peer review. Submitting your manuscript for peer review can be a very daunting and nerve-wracking process the first time around. You're not alone. The more papers you submit for peer review, the more familiar you will become with the process and the easier it will be. Here are some tips to help you get there.
First, triple check your manuscript is submission ready. We suggest going through the following list to make sure you are ready for submission. First, have you checked for grammar and spelling errors? Have you checked that your document is blinded, meaning author names are not included anywhere? Regarding in-text citations where you cite your own work, check with the journal and publisher to determine if you need to blind your citations such that it reads author, year, instead of listing author names to ensure a blind review. Is your manuscript organized by journal standards? Is it under the required page length? Do you have your cover letter, title page, and manuscript saved as separate files? How does the journal want you to submit your documents? One file or multiple files? Typically, you will upload each file separately, so be sure everything is saved separately now, but just be sure to check the journal's guidelines. Do you have everything you need? How many files will you be submitting? For example, for some papers, our figures are in separate documents, not within the main manuscript file, so be sure you have every file you need. Do you have your ORcid ID? You will need this to make an author account for the journal.
Prior to submission, create an ORcid ID if you do not already have one. We also encourage you to reach out to your fellow co-authors to obtain their ORcid IDs as well. An ORcid ID is a digital identifier that distinguishes you from other researchers. Register for an ORcid ID by going to orcid.org. That is ORcid.org.
Next, make an account. Most, if not all, journal accounts are free for authors. You must make an account to submit and track the progress of your submission. On most journal websites, there is a place to click titled Submit an Article. Click there, and then you'll be prompted to log into the author portal. If you already have an account, you can just log in. But for most graduate students, you will need to make an account. You can do so using your ORcid ID. This will help ensure any publications are all linked through that identifying number.
Next, follow the prompts. Most publishing websites are very explicit with step-by-step instructions. Check your work multiple times, and if you have a question during submission, keep clicking through and you might get your question answered as you progress to the next step. For example, some journals you upload your cover letter in the same section of the submission process as when you upload your title page, manuscript file, and figures. However, for some journals, you do not need to upload your cover letter until one of the last steps.
Finally, know the details. Besides writing your article, you must understand the ethical procedures, competing interests, and informed consent procedures. Journals will ask you questions related to funding and ethics when you go to submit. It is also important that you know your co-author's details, as you will be required to enter their email address and name and determine authorship order.
If questions come up during submission, reach out to your PI, project director, or a more advanced student on your team to help you. When making a submission, be sure to give yourself plenty of time, as it may take a while to upload documents and enter in all the required information. Thank you for tuning in to 5 Things You Need to Know About Journal Submission in 5 minutes or less. Please subscribe and be on the lookout for our next video, 5 Things You Need to Know About Editorial Decisions. We look forward to engaging with you and serving as a resource for your introductory research needs. Remember to check out our website and social media. Take care.